2017 has been described as the safest year for aviation in Nigeria as the nation's safety records continue to improve. Reports indicate that there were no commercial passenger jet deaths in 2017, even though accidents resulting in 44 onboard fatalities and 35 injuries on the ground were recorded. However, this seemingly improving record appears to be threatened. A couple of weeks ago, the door of a commercial airplane that was taxiing down the runway after landing from Lagos to Abuja fell off, throwing the passengers into panic. Just a few days ago, another passenger airline was prevented from landing as cows strayed into the runway of the Akure Airport in Ondo State. As if that was not enough, tragedy was averted again when another commercial aircraft flying from Abuja to Port Harcourt overshot the runway at the Port Harcourt International Airport. Is the Nigerian aviation sector undergoing some turbulence? That is our focus on Nigeria today. I am Joy Osiago. Thanks for joining us. Joining us to discuss safety in the Nigerian aviation sector is a professional aircraft maintenance engineer. To my far left, Bolahon Agbaton. He's an accountable manager at Airfirst Aviation Limited. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Also with us is Godi Ike, an aviation expert. Thanks for joining us, Godi.
Thank you, Joel.
Now, gentlemen, since 2014, it's obvious that we've enjoyed relative peace and tranquility in the aviation sector since we didn't hear about any mishap. But if you consider events in the recent past, it looks like that peace is being threatened. Engineer Bolahon, are you concerned about this development?
Yes, I am concerned. When I read about the first incident on Dana airline, the aircraft that landed with the emergency exit opening on taxiing, I mean, I was disturbed because that shouldn't have happened at all. Because the emergency exit, you know, it's kind of part of the airframe structure of the aircraft, and you only open it when you have an emergency and then when you're doing maintenance. Chances are that maintenance activities were carried out maybe a night before, or must be a night before on the aircraft, and the personnel that fitted the emergency exit didn't put it right. And the question is, some people ask, why didn't this door fall off in flight? You know, because the pressure in the cabin of the aircraft at high altitude is higher than the pressure outside. And the emergency exit is meant to open inward into the cabin. So when you pull the handle, it opens inward, and then the cabin crew takes it and then throw it out for passengers, you know, to be evacuated. So, but on landing, the pressure outside, the atmospheric pressure outside, it's definitely higher than the pressure in the cabin of the aircraft. So that's why the door got sucked in, or was pushed in from outside by the pressure. And that shouldn't have happened. On the door, almost all pressurized airplanes have this emergency exit. And then there are kind of spigots, like pins at the bottom of the door that sit in the hole on the structure. That is the first safety device. And then the second one is when you now pull the handle down to lock position, then there are other spigots that will move out from the exit into the aperture where it sits, and that put it in place firmly.
Now here we are doing a critical analysis. The ordinary man outside will say, it happened. You just said that it shouldn't have happened, but it happened.
Yeah, so it's human error, I would put it that way.
What's your take on this issue, Mr. Godi?
I am quite impressed Engineer Bolaho's take on this, because I had actually discussed this on ITV a week ago, and exactly the same pressure issue was the issue I raised. But let me come quickly to the issue of human error that he has concluded with. That is correct. I have said these severally, that Dana Air appears to operate recklessly. And I must tell you this very seriously, because anybody who bothers to take a look at how this airline has been coming on should go to my blog and do "And the Bubble Burst." I did a comprehensive job on it, and the bubble burst, the complete story of the air crash, and I was referring to the issue that took place in 2012.
Well, Mr. God, I don't want us to limit it to a particular airline. I mean, let's look at, because we're looking at the issue of safety generally.
Okay, safety generally. Well, we start from the one we know now that is going on wrong again. Okay, I would say that the attitude we have as a people when it concerns serious matters such as aviation is quite poor. We do not take things that we should take seriously as they need. Aviation is all about safety. Everything you do in aviation, safety is number one. And then after that, anything else, can follow. But you see, I can't tell this whole story without really sharing with you, my experience once. Okay, let me say on one of the airlines where passengers were seated and they were busy tinkering with the engine when we were already boarded. It's Engineer Bolahan will confirm to you that is a taboo in aviation. All
right, let me go to Engineer Bolahan. Yeah. Let's talk about the issue of regulation and issue of sanction in the aviation sector, because when people go wrong, they must be punished. How are we doing in terms of regulation and policy to check this?
Yeah, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has, there's all these regulations in place, and it is the responsibility of every operator to make sure that they operate by the rules, to go by the regulations. And the civil aviation authorities have all these inspectors everywhere, both on the operation side and on the technical side, that when an operator goes outside the envelope of the safety regulation, then they get sanctioned.
So who is responsible for the laxity in the system? Because it is obvious that someone is not doing his or her job at the moment.
Joe, let me say this. There's something that is not correct in the way we take incidents in aviation and accidents. They will always say to you, we are investigating, especially AIB will say to you, and I'm talking about Accident Investigation Bureau, right? They will say to you that we are investigating in order to find out what went wrong and ensure that it doesn't happen again. They are not investigating to hold somebody responsible. True or false?
Well, it's both ways. They investigate to hold somebody responsible and then to make sure that this does not happen again.
But how often do we punish culprits?
Oh, they do sanction. NCA, it is the responsibility of NCA to sanction the airlines. But all these things will still come up again. And then, NCA cannot come to the airline office, sit with them, and then operate with them on daily basis until when we have situations like this. And then, but they do have regular audit of every company. Where they go, they look at your books, they see your maintenance practices and the records, and then they look at your operation, they look at your personnel and all that. But if you look at the recent events, it's more, at least the two that I know on Dana, the one of last night and the door, I can relate the two to human error. Nothing to do, when you say human error, you look at the management side. There must be something that the management of this airline are not doing very well, that is affecting this staff, or staff themselves. So that is a critical area that Nigerian civil aviation definitely will look into.
All right, still staying with you, Engineer Bolahun. I mean,
Yes.
what does it take to certify a nation's aviation industry? And let's look at it from the point of view of when we purchase an aircraft,
Yeah.
to someone taking a look at it to be sure that it is in order with modern standards, and down to the issue of maintenance.
Yeah.
What does it take?
Well, it takes a lot.
Let's hear it.
All right. Yeah. When an operator set out to want to purchase an aircraft, the head of maintenance of that company will have to go first and look at this aircraft to be sure that, yes, we're getting a good aircraft for our operation before the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority will go there. The same job that the head of maintenance of this company has done is what the Nigerian Civil Aviation will go and repeat again. So you now have like a duplicate inspection of that aircraft before it's finally certified to come into Nigeria.
Is the Nigerian Civil Aviation doing that?
Oh yeah, they do that.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Godi. Let's look at assessment of Nigeria's investment in both human and technology to ensure safety in our airspace. How well are we doing that? Let's hear from your perspective.
I must be frank, we're not doing well. We are just not doing well. If you look at even the attitude of workers, at the airport, you will find that the sort of seriousness and sternness, because you need to be serious and stern in order to to have people doing what they should do at all times, don't exist. For instance, there was a time that we did a show on bed strike and preferred a lot of suggestions as to how we could keep birds away from, that includes even cows, away from the airport, vicinity. And I personally took a trip to the airport to find out if we have animal management department. It is a department that must be there if we really want to deal with these issues seriously. Joy, I didn't find anyone to talk to here in Abuja. And when I went to the NCAA office to try to see the boss, it was a tug of war to cross the gate, and somebody wanted to know why I wanted to see him. I made it clear that, listen, I need to see somebody or a department that is in charge of animal management. And they said, okay, you can't see the boss, he's not there. And after a little bit of argument, they let me in. I waited for a while, filled the form, and waited for some time, and I never saw him. The next thing I heard was that he was doing inspection at the airport. Then I left information that I should be contacted. I run a TV program on aviation every Monday morning, and that I needed to find out if we had animal management department to ensure that cows don't come around, birds are scared away in order not to keep hitting jet engines in the name of bed strike. Right. And so here we are just not doing what we should do. That must be taken seriously. We are not doing what we should do.
So, Engineer Bolahun, listening to him now, can we attribute some of the mishap in recent times to human fault, or has it got to do with technical?
I would say it's more of a human. What has happened in the recent time, it's more of human negligence, I would say. Especially the first one of the door, and then the one that happened last night. The one that happened last night, just unfortunate, because the aircraft operation department, the airline operation department must have received the weather report, both in Abuja and Port Harcourt, to ensure that, yes, it was safe for the aircraft to take off, fly, land in Port Harcourt. But unfortunately, yeah, they had rain, heavy rain in Port Harcourt. There is nothing wrong with an aircraft landing, in the rain.
So as an expert now, would you say the human aspect of it is more than the mechanical?
Yeah, it's more than the mechanical. I mean, the human aspect of it is more than the mechanical, because the aircraft was okay. There was nothing wrong with the aircraft, and they're veering off the wrong way. I mean, the aircraft is being controlled by somebody.
All right.
Not computer.
All right. This is Nigeria Today on NTA News 24. We have been looking at aviation safety in Nigeria against the background of recent accidents in the sector. The program returns after the break.
Coming up on NTA News 24. Nigeria Today, 7:30, Monday to Friday, with exciting anchors on topical issues. Inspirators, a search for those who inspire others. Business 24, a business magazine program. Late edition repackaged. Fresh and exciting programming on NTA News 24. Stay with us.
Thank you for staying with us. It's Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the issue of the aviation sector and safety. I'll start with you, Engineer Bolaho. Nigeria has signed into the Africa Single Air Initiative, which means that there could be increased air traffic. What does that mean for Nigeria? What do we need to do to prepare